Hello everyone, I'm Gauri Kashyap and today we're talking about the debilitating air pollution issues in our nation's capital. Over the last few months, the Supreme Court has continued hearings on air pollution in the Delhi National Capital Region. Mansi Shah from the Supreme Court Observer team tracked each of these hearings. In our newsletter last week, she wrote about how in these hearings, the script scarcely changes. An advocate raises alarm over the prevailing conditions, the bench reacts with concern, pointed questions follow, and the court demands another affidavit. The conversation circles around the usual suspect: the Graded Response Action Plan or GRAP, vehicular emissions, firecracker bans, and stubble burning.
There was one moment from the hearings that stayed with me even after the hearings had concluded. Possibly because it was so heartfelt in its exasperation. Justice A.S. Oak, who has helmed all the pollution benches this season, was possibly at his wit's end when he made a remark in court. He said, "It is apparent that the authorities have made no honest effort to implement." The line hit harder than I thought, and possibly it was because of where I was logging in from. I was logging in from an air purifier fortified room at the office in Delhi. Just outside the shuttered windows, I could see a thick, acrid blanket of smog. In fact, a doctor had recently told me that it was the reason behind my persistently itchy throat, something that strikes like clockwork at the onset of the smog season.
The Supreme Court began hearing this matter in November after Delhi recorded an AQI of 485, classified as severe plus. Stage 4 of GRAP was enforced, which meant restriction of vehicular movement and halting of construction.
In December, Delhi's AQI averaged 294, ostensibly the cleanest air we've had since the introduction of the Air Quality Index system back in 2015. But the raspy coughs and the burning eyes were telling a completely different story here. The AQI numbers felt abstract because it was so detached from what we were actually breathing around us. Even the court wasn't convinced this time and started pushing for long-term measures, like better waste management and electric vehicles for government fleet. It was a clear acknowledgement that seasonal band-aids just won't cut it anymore.
The court has had a long history of involvement in Delhi's pollution battles. Its first major intervention came in the mid-1980s when environmental lawyer M.C. Mehta approached it with a request to address vehicular pollution in the city. Since then, the court has kept the Mehta case open under a continuing mandamus to address a wide spectrum of pollution-related concerns. In 1991, the court directed the setting up of a committee to explore low-cost alternatives to reduce vehicular pollution. While disposing of a tagged matter in 1998, it ordered buses, taxis, and three-wheelers to switch to CNG. In 2016, it flagged the absence of a clear pollution response plan by the CPCB, that is the Central Pollution Control Board. 2017 stood out when it banned firecrackers, a restriction it eased in 2018 for green crackers. In early April, the court imposed a year-long ban on the use, manufacture, sale and storage of all firecrackers in the Delhi National Capital Region, noting that there was no proof that green crackers were pollution-free. Despite all this, the overwhelming sense among concerned citizens is that enduring change has been elusive. Admittedly, the responsibility for the enforcement lies with the executive. The court has pulled out some stops in the set of hearings: summoning chief secretaries of the National Capital Region states, pulling up the Air Commission for Air Quality Management, flagging lapses in implementation of color-coded stickers for vehicles, directing the government in the capital to submit real-time data on polluting industries are just some of the actions it has taken. In April 2025, the court told off authorities for delays in pollution control at thermal power plants and weak enforcement of vehicular pollution norms. It noted that 27% of Delhi's solid waste remains unprocessed and directed the Municipal Corporation of Delhi to file a compliance affidavit by the end of June. The bench has often threatened the authorities with contempt for not meeting filing deadlines or producing evidence of action. But it hasn't followed through on the threat just yet. The concern is that the onset of summer and Justice Oak's retirement in May could cause the momentum to fizzle out. But if the court is serious about its commitment to air quality, it must not just maintain the pressure on authorities, but escalate it. If the court drops the ball on this, we can expect the same grey shroud to blanket the breathless city of Delhi once again. If you like this story, make sure to visit scobserver.in for more. Subscribe to our channel and our email newsletter as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.